When you start getting overrun with more tomatoes and cucumbers than you know what to do with, I have a great suggestion for you today, along with a few other things like jicama and mango that you can do to make great snacks that are perfect for your family for the summer to have anytime that you want it, and it doesn't have to be something fresh. Dried vegetable chips are the way to go. Hi, I'm Darcy from the Purposeful Pantry, and I want to be your dehydrating BFF. I want to teach you safe but practical ways to put food on your pantry shelves for your family to use whenever you want it. And I know a lot of you may not know, but I've been on a really big health journey for the last year, losing a bunch of weight, getting myself healthy because I'm looking at functional health, not skinny health. And one of the ways that I find to help curb my snack cravings is to make vegetable and fruit chips that are yummy. Take care of that either salty, crunchy thing or the sweet tooth thing that I have that I just need to grab a few to have as a snack. But most importantly, they can add a lot of fiber to your diet. And if you're on a protein kick like I am, you know that fiber is very important to deal with protein. So let's get started on our chips for the season. Okay, so the next thing I have right now is some jicama. It is, as they didn't used to be, but I think they're trying to do it to make them last longer on the shelf. Now they've started covering them in wax, which they didn't used to do. I'm not going to try to take the wax off. I'm just going to go ahead and peel now, and I can go ahead and wash it after. All right, so what is jicama? It is a root vegetable that I kind of say is between a potato and an apple. It's kind of sweet. It is full of fiber. That's what I like it for. Man, this is really hard to peel with the wax on it. I could have soaked it in some hot water, and that would have helped. Okay, we also want the best fruit and veg we can get at the highest quality we can get when we're preserving. That's not going to happen with this jicama. It is obviously well on its way to being a little bit overripe, but I'm going to use it anyway because it's developed some flavor. I can smell it. That makes it a little bit sweeter. We're going to go through here. You can see why I think it's like a potato, yet it is juicy like an apple and a little bit sweet like an apple. Okay, so I'm going to go through and just cut this into pieces. It's not going to make a ton because I'm not looking for a ton right now. But what I'm doing is working on my Healthy Girl Summer for snacks that I'm trying to increase the uptake of fiber without necessarily having to take a bunch of fiber supplements. So I'm finding that in any ways I can get fiber in my diet that I don't normally, I'm going to do it. So this is one of them, snacks for me. To eat when I'm hungry or bored that are healthy is a good thing. So I'm just going to go through here and basically create matchsticks out of my jicama. And I'm going to take my seasoning of choice for the jicama, which is a chili lime seasoning, which you may also know as tahini. This is just a different brand in a cheaper model. So I just do this pretty heavy. Mix it up. Take our dehydrator tray, which I have a liner on. I always use a liner almost 90% of the time with these racks, from this Excalibur racks that I'm using. But even when I was using the Kasori, I still will use it almost full time because things just don't stick to the racks as easily. They don't stick. So I put them on there. They look a little bit like French fries, don't they? But here we go with these. I'm just going to spread them out some. Yeah, I'll have these done in a couple of days. They will be eaten up pretty quickly. 1 cup of fresh jicama is about 6.5 grams of fiber. So that is a quarter of your daily allowance because women should be getting about 25% of fiber in a day. So, you know, just from a quick snack in the afternoon, that's a quarter of your fiber right there. Okay, the next thing I'm working with is some mango that I purchased pretty cheaply in a package like this that I didn't have to peel because if you've seen my mango video before, I'll give you the link right up here. Peeling mangoes is not my favorite. I know there are easy ways to do it, but it's still not my favorite. But I bought this because my youngest son thought he liked mangoes, and it turns out he does not. So my oldest son, who is on vacation right now, will not be home for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and get these dehydrated as a snack, and he can have that when he gets back because he loves mango everything. So I am taking these larger pieces, and this is a not very ripe mango. So it's not going to have as much flavor as a really ripe mango, but still it will work because the dehydrating process will actually concentrate the sugars in it, so it will have a little bit more flavor dehydrated. All right, same thing. I'm going to use tahini on this because we're finding that sweet and spicy and hot, it's a flavor combination my family likes. Right onto a dehydrator tray, lined of course. And I do let my fruit have some space when I'm drying. I don't do it with herbs. I don't do it with greens. With some vegetables that I know they're going to shrink up a lot, like onions, I don't try to give space. But with fruit, they're denser. They take longer to dry. I want to make sure I give them some space that makes sure everything gets its fair share in front of the air, in the dry air, to make sure that they get dehydrated well. Okay, for our next project, I am taking some of our overabundance of grape tomatoes that are coming in, cherry tomatoes, not grape, these are cherry, and starting to process them. There aren't very many here. We're not going to be eating a salad that we need it in the near future, and I don't want to freeze these few because we're about to get slammed with cherry tomatoes. I'm going to take all of my cherry tomatoes and just quarter them, just like this. And I would have them, except I need them to dry a little faster than a half will dry, so I'm taking the quarters and doing them that way. Like I could do it this way and just kind of squeeze it over a bowl like that and get rid of this gel that's inside. It will help it dry faster that way and get rid of the bitter leaves. You still get this, just like that. See how I did that? Try one more time. I'm going to take this piece and just kind of run my finger in it. You can use a spoon if this grosses you out, but that will take out that gel and it will help your tomato pieces dry faster. And some of my homemade herb blend, which is my Italian seasoning that I made from everything, mostly stuff that I grew in the garden, but I also purchased some excess to have enough. I'll put that link to the video right up here that you can learn how to do it yourself and have homemade Italian seasoning, which look how green it is compared to what you normally get in the store, which is kind of brown. Good stuff. So I'm going to sprinkle that on very liberally. Then I'm going to take my homemade mushroom parmesan seasoning blend, which I'm just going to sprinkle this on top as well. Not a ton, but some. If you want the recipe, I'll have it right up here. It's one that we did a while back. It is the most delicious stuff, and I've made my husband responsible for keeping us up to stock on it because it's one of his favorite things I've ever done. Take them and pull them out. And I'm only going to use up half the tray for this. I'll put some of the next project on it with it. But I want to make sure, mostly for the ones that I've cut in half, that I leave the cut side up. If I was using parchment paper or anything solid like that, it would be more important because you would want the part that needs the most air getting into it to be what dries first. Of course, if you're using a stackable, then put the cut side up or down, depending on where the fan is. Now we're going to move on to cucumbers. I have a ton of these mini cucumbers that I got from the store that were on sale, really cheap, clearanced out, so I got a bunch of them. However, I'm not a pickle person. What I do love is shredded cucumber for making tzatziki sauce, and I will put that right up here in the corner for the recipe for the tzatziki sauce. And I like cucumber chips that are flavored because they are a great little snack for me to have. And when I'm just jonesing for some potato chips, they don't taste like a potato chip, but they give me sort of the texture and feel. And if they're flavored, they make me happy. So the best way to do this is not with a knife, but with a mandolin. So I have example of two here. I have a stand-up safety mandolin and a regular traditional mandolin. This mandolin, I'll show you what it looks like full. I'll pull back on it right here. It has a plunger just like this that works as a guillotine that has a chute right here that you put your food into, and it feeds it into the guillotine, and then you just chop it. Now, the safety name for it is a little bit of a misleading thing because you still can hurt yourself really bad on this. When you're cleaning it, or if you're not paying attention and are trying to do this without the chute, which I'm not going to be doing today, but basically it's just like this. It just plunges and cuts and plunges and cuts. And I can do it like this, and you get a slice just like this off, just like that. But I am not doing that today because I will hurt myself on this. Even with my glove, I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to be using my trusty mandolin that's just like this. But I will never use this with a guard that it comes with. That big round thing that's supposed to plunge into the food that you're doing and help you push it down across the blade to cut. That is not safe for me. I'm a klutz, and your hands can slip off of it when you're not paying attention. So what I'm going to do is use a trusty cutting glove just like this, which will help protect my hands from getting cut as I go across the blade. I'm going to set it at 1/4 inch to give me a good, big, a thick slice. When I've done these in the past, I really prefer really thin slices, but people have said they have problems with them breaking and not being great. So we're going to do the 1/4 today just to make everybody, show you can do it this way as well. I'm just going to go through here and cut these down. The whole time I can run my fingers across here and never hurt myself because of this glove. It's a lifesaver for your fingers, and it will keep you out of the ER. Trust me. see our slices. All right, here we go. You know, I can't tell you how many summers I spent at my grandmother's house cutting up slices of cucumber out of the garden to make a cucumber and onion salad, which contained a little bit of sugar and some vinegar and water that you soaked them in, and then we would have them for dinner at night. We would cut them up in the morning as we harvested, and then let them soak throughout the day and have them for dinner. That was one of the best meals I ever had. Still love it. But my stomach, not so much. I have to find a burpless variety of cucumbers in order to make it for me. Just like my grandpa, he was the same way. When they finally found burpless cucumber seeds, then that's all they ever grew, because then he could eat cucumbers again. Okay, so how can you use these? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take quite a few. I'm going to do both versions, and I'm going to take some balsamic reduction, which I love, and I'm going to do this is instead of vinegar and salt thing, because I'm not really a fan of vinegar and salt. Potato chip, yes, but not on cucumbers. For some reason, I just don't like it. So I'm taking this balsamic vinegar reduction and doing the same kind of thing here. If you wanted to add a little salt to it, you could, but the balsamic reduction is sweet. Naturally, as the balsamic vinegar has been reduced, it's had a little sugar added to it as well. So that is going to be what we have here. Is this. It's a barbecue rub that's sweet and spicy with soy. So it's kind of like having barbecue sauce, but not really. And yes, you can do barbecue sauce. The last time I did vegetable chips, I did them with zucchinis. I'll leave it up a comment in the above in the cards. Is one of my favorite kind of seasonings for zucchini. Made it with barbecue sauce, but this time I'm doing this. We got these on super, like $1 for this whole thing. So what I do is I just pour it in just like this and mix it up. So it's like a soy barbecue sauce. It's really good. I love it on chicken, so I'm glad I had more than the one, because I think they either stopped making it or the store was just trying to move through its stock. All right, so my next one is an old mix of sour cream and onion powder that I think I got. I don't even know when I got it. It's a little bit older, but it still tastes great and it's still yummy. So we're gonna do sour cream and onion chips. Oops. And that's how old it is. It's been around for a while and it's a little cakey, but that's okay. And I'm using it up. So I'm going to my trusty tahini and get all of these put in the bowl. All right, there we go. There's our seasoning. So we have, I'm gonna have to remember, balsamic, sour, my fingers still dirty, balsamic, sour cream and onion. Then we have the barbecue soy, and then tahini. All right, we're gonna do the balsamic with the tomatoes, because if flavors meld, which they really don't, balsamic on the tomatoes is also a really great choice. So I'm just gonna spread these out here and into the dehydrator they go. And if any of these that you needed to salt them to make it, you know, like if you think that it would make a better chip for you to help replace that salty, crunchy thing, feel free to put a little salt on them. Know that it's going to release some of the moisture from the cucumber, just like it does when you put salt on mushrooms or cucumbers, getting them ready to cook. But it's not something you shouldn't do. It's something I choose not to do. And all I'm doing here, I'm not trying to put them in any kind of pretty order. I am just trying to make sure that I've got slices separated, because they can stick together pretty easily and you don't want that to happen. So I'm just trying to separate out the slices as we go. All right, here we are. So typically I would say dry all of these at 125F to 135F, which is 52 to 57C, because that is the recommended temperature for doing fruits and vegetables. I'm going to err on the higher side, even though we're doing fruit, because all of these are high water content, and I just want them to dry a little bit faster and maybe caramelize a little bit. I'm all for that. Maybe even 140. Because it's okay. I'll watch if the tomatoes look like they're getting a little overdone. I'll turn it down. Then we're going for time, which I never, ever, ever do this by time. I just set it out. This stuff's going to dry when it dries. I'm going to give it plenty of time, and I'll check it occasionally. So I set it way out so I don't have to worry about it. And then we get started. See the results. We have chips, more chips, more chips, tomatoes and chips, mangoes, and the jicama chips. Okay, first we're going to talk about the jicama and the mango. The thing about dehydrating is never check your food when it's in the dehydrator, assuming that it's going to be fully dry. The heat will make all the sugars be much more soft and fluffy and bendy. So what you want to do is let them sit out for a while, for about 5 or 10 minutes, more for things like pineapple and things like that have like super sugar content and super dense. But these need to sit out for about 5 or 10 minutes to let them cool off. Okay, once they're cooled, you can pick them up and decide, is this dry? Is it not dry? This is still warm, so it's still super flexible and bendy, just like that. But if in 10 minutes it was still like this, I might want to put it back in the dehydrator for some more time to make sure it's fully dry, that this is not moisture doing it instead of just soft sugars, okay? So you want to let that sit out for a while longer. The jicama has been sitting out for a few moments longer, and I know it's done. It breaks easily. Tastes super. Great little snack. Don't like cucumber skin, then maybe go ahead and peel them. It would make a bigger difference too with larger cucumbers. I was using all the small extra ones we had. If they're sticking to your mesh, all you have to do is fold like this and they will come right off and fly around your house just like this. So here are our chips. Super crunchy, super tasty. Oh, that one's even, ooh, that one's super, wow. And did I remember to write it down which one this is? No, that's the barbecue. Okay, I can taste the soy now. That's why you write things down before you put them in the dehydrator to go and walk away for a couple of hours and not remember what tray was what, especially when they all look exactly the same. But you've done different flavorings. Wow, that's punchy. It's good, but it's punchy. Okay, so you don't have to buy this checklist. I've got it in my store, but you can do this on a piece of paper. You can do it on Post-it notes, whatever you need to do. Make sure to write things down about what was on what tray. But you can see for those very small cucumbers we had, this is the size that it dries into. And then this is the balsamic vinegar. Oh, that's my favorite. Okay, that beats out the sour cream and onion that I love so much. We're making more of these. That is so good. So this is the balsamic vinegar reduction. So good. And here are our little tomato pieces. They're just cute little tomato snacks. Sun-dried tomatoes without the oil. You cannot store these in oil in the refrigerator for weeks on end because it's not safe. They're good for up to 5 days by the safest food standards that we have from the National Center for Home Food Preservation. So you can store them like this in your jars, put them in oil when you want to use them. They will not rehydrate in the oil. They will just take on some of the flavor. They might get a little softer, but then you can put it on the stove, warm it up gently, and then it will start to take on that softer sun-dried tomato thing that you're used to. But these work great in salads. Now, how do we store these? As with everything, something airtight. No matter what it is, how you choose to do it, airtight containment is the most important so that they don't take on moisture and get soft. These will not make it. These will be eaten in the next 10 minutes. They're that good. Found my chute just now, the one I couldn't find for my stand-up mandolin. It's not where it was supposed to be. Okay, so for my flavored cucumber chips, they're all going to go into the same jar because they have remarkably similar profiles. I don't care that they taste a little different. It doesn't matter to me. So they are close enough together that I'm just going to go ahead and put them in a jar together. So here's our jar full of snacks that I can grab a little handful to have along with my lunch or as a little, I need a crunchy, salty snack for the afternoon or in the evening. This will be a great go-to to help me work on my weight loss journey, to help me get healthier, and to help me get stronger. Now, typically these snacks in a bag just like this are only good for a couple of days because like I said, remember, these are air permeable, not airtight. So they're fine for camping or hiking or on a quick Boy Scout or Girl Scout trip for a camp out weekend. That's fine for this. But if you want to store it for longer than that, you really need to keep it in some airtight containment to help keep the moisture at bay. So like my last snack video I did on my road trip, having snacks handy to help feed you or your family are really important. I'm gonna have a QR code right here that for those of you that are on your television can click to get to the recipes for all the different ideas for flavorings for your vegetable chips. You can just click this right here and get to there, and you can watch this video right here where I show you all the ways that I made snacks for my road trip, from breakfast to lunch to meals that I had anytime I needed it. So if you'll excuse me now, I'm gonna go eat my chips. So remember, nevertheless, she preserves. And until I see you again next time, happy dehydrating.